Hey guys, welcome back. Today we'll be covering another day of Tim Hortons Hockey Challenge picks. So those of you who are new, this is a new tool that we dropped on 5v5hockey.com. So we've been focused over the last few years on daily fantasy tools, some season-long tools, and most recently focused on some betting models. So we have some data scientists who have built some really great betting models. And the whole idea here is how do we take those betting models and then apply them to these Tim picks to help you guys um, win some free coffee for a week. So let's start out today. Small slate. We're on a 3 day streak here. Um, Very tough when there's only two games today. So looking at the slate for pick number one, there's a couple picks that stand out. Bedard's been hot over his last 5 games, hitting 60% for goals. Last 10 games, 50% of those he's scoring goals. And then playing on the top line, top power play. A reminder, this matchup score, I covered it a little bit yesterday, but this basically, I'll jump into this tool here. And what this does is it takes, and let's go to the So what this does is it takes individual matchups. So we're grabbing historical data to say what percent of the time do we expect line one to be matched up against the Hawks line one. So an example, 23% of the time we're projecting tonight that these two lines will see each other. Line one for the Blues, we'll see the Hawks line two 20% of the time. They'll see the third line 28% of the time, and they'll see the fourth line 27% of the time. And then once we know what percent of the time each line is going to be bumped up against each other tonight, then we can look at their offensive score, defensive score, and then how they each match up. And this ultimately all comes together and it feeds on that Tim's pick page, the matchup score. So it's a simple score. We do all the math for you. The higher the number, the better that line's matchup is tonight. The lower number means the tougher matchup. Tough matchup means, they'll be facing lines that roughly don't give up many goals. So for the first pick, I'm gonna probably lock in here on Bedard. The only thing I don't love is the team implied goals is lower. So if we don't think that line's going to score or that team's going to score many goals, we can go. I also like Keller. So locking in Bedard or Keller. You can also click on these players and get additional views, who they're correlated with. We have the game logs down here. You can see they're trending over the last 30. So you can see Bedard's been scoring quite a bit. You can flip between shots on goal, shot attempts, how many minutes he's playing. I also like to hover over this matchup, and you can see the Blues over the last couple games, giving up quite a few goals. 7 goals given up against Nashville, 5 goals given up against the Bruins, 3 goals against Montreal. The other thing that's relevant here, I know I'm jumping around on you guys, but trying to feature all these tools so you know where to find them. Um, this is a good view. So if you go to daily fantasy goalies and then you jump to allowed DK points. So this is more for daily fantasy DraftKings points, but it gives you a sense of which goalies and teams are giving up more points. So Hofer giving up the most on this slate. They're not too far apart. It is a small slate, but this is kind of why I'm honing in on some of the Blackhawks players. And we saw the Blues are giving up a ton of goals over the last 3 games. So we're going to lock in Bedard or Keller for pick number one. Jumping down to pick number two. Um, there's not a lot to love here. If we like the Bedard line, Burakovsky's playing with Bedard. I'm kind of shying away from him. He hasn't scored a ton of goals. Um, the one thing I do like is he is on the power play one. So we could go Burakovsky based off that matchup score. Another guy I was looking at is Suter. So Suter, he has a couple goals sprinkled in here, playing third line, playing power play two. So I think if I'm looking at pick number two, I'm locking in either Burakovsky, Suter. Going down to pick number three, There's not a ton here as well. I think looking at this, I'm honing in on that matchup score. Looking at Nazar's playing on the top power play. He hasn't scored a ton, none in his last 10, 1 goal in his last 20. His last 30, he did score, what is that, 6, 7 goals there. So I think pick number 3, I'm locking in Nazar. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Probably won't be able to do them every day, but use the tool. If you have any feedback, drop it in the YouTube comment section. If you enjoyed the content, give us a like. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Bye.